In this lesson, we're going to talk about the minor pentatonic scale. Now, there's two ways you can think about this. There's a parallel minor and a relative minor scale. A parallel minor is useful because it lets you see which notes changed. And so if you play an A major scale, and then you play an A minor scale, you can see that most of the notes are the same. You just lower notes 3, 6, and 7 by a half step. So that's a parallel minor scale. It just starts and ends on the same note. So here's your A major and an A minor. And then you have a relative minor scale. So for every major scale, there is a minor scale that uses the exact same set of notes. So if you play a C major scale, and now play an A minor scale, you can see that they use the same notes. You're just starting on a different note. So the relative minor scale will start on the 6th note of its relative major scale. So in the key of C, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that is your starting point for your relative minor scale in the key of A. Now that's easy to see for C major because you're using all white notes. Let's go back to the A major scale. And to find its relative minor, you go to the 6th note. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So now F sharp is your relative minor. So an F sharp minor scale follows the same notes as the A major scale. And it works the same with the pentatonic scale. So the C major pentatonic scale shares the same notes as its relative A minor pentatonic scale. And the reason I like to think of minor pentatonic scales as relative minors instead of parallel minors is because it's like you're getting 12 scales for free because you're using the exact same notes and the exact same finger pattern. And the easiest way to find the relative minor is to count back 3 half steps. And so if you take the A major pentatonic scale, and then you just count back 3 half steps, so 1, 2, 3, and now you have the F sharp minor pentatonic scale, and you're using the same finger as if you were continuing the A major pentatonic scale. And you can really tell when you're using multiple octaves that you're using the same finger pattern. The F sharp minor. So it really brings those two scales together, and when I practice, I like to think in terms of using the major and the relative minor. So that's the minor pentatonic scale, and the easiest way for me to practice these is by using the same group method as the major pentatonic scale. The only difference is your starting note. So for the major pentatonic, group 1 is in this order: C, F, G, D, A, E, B, and F sharp. And the one rule is your finger pattern is 1, 2, 3, 1, 3, 5. So for the minor pentatonic, you'll practice in this order: A minor, D minor, E minor, B minor, F sharp minor, D flat minor, A flat minor, and E flat minor. You just start and end with finger 3 on the relative minor, which is 3 half steps down. So I like to start with my hand position in the key of C, and then I find my relative minor from there. So my thumb is on C, and then I count back 3 half steps, 1, 2, 3, and now I have my A minor pentatonic scale. And if you want to go 2 octaves, and then I move my hand to F, and I find my relative minor, so 1, 2, 3, and actually I'll move down here. So 1, 2, 3, then I have my D minor pentatonic scale, and then 2 octaves. And then I move to G and find my relative minor, which is E, and then 2 octaves. And then I move to D and find my relative minor, which is B, so B minor, and then 2 octaves. And then I move to A and find my relative minor, which is F sharp, octaves. And then I move to E and find my relative minor, which is D flat. And then go 2 octaves. And then I move to B and find my relative minor, which is A flat minor. And then go 2 octaves. And then I go to F sharp and find my relative minor, which is E flat minor. Then I go 2 octaves. So for group 2, the major pentatonic was in this order: A flat, B flat, D flat, and E flat. And so the minor pentatonic will start in this order: F minor, G minor, B flat minor, and C minor. And you're just starting with the finger as if you're continuing the relative major scale. So for A flat, you would start with your second finger and then you find your relative minor by moving down 3 half steps. So in this case, we can start with our finger 1. And if you go 2 octaves, that. And one thing you notice at the top, you can bring your thumb under to hit that last note and bring it back down. Or, to save a little bit of time, have your thumb in there and then just use your finger 5 to hit that F note to come back down. But I want to make sure that you're used to moving your thumb under if you do 1 octave, because that will lead you into the second octave. And the sticky part for a lot of people is to be able to move that thumb quick. So I want to make sure you practice using that thumb to go underneath and coming back for 1 octave, and when you get to the top of the second octave, or third octave if you go up here, then you can use your finger 5 to end it and come back down. So for B flat, you start with finger 3, and you find the relative minor, which would be G. So you start on finger 2, and for 2 octaves, now at the top of here, it's the same thing. You can bring your thumb underneath and then back down, or you can just finish with your open fingers to come back down. But same thing, if you're doing 1 octave, I want to make sure that your thumb is used to coming up and back down to get rid of that sticky point so that you can play it fast. And then once you get to the top, then you can use your other fingers to finish it off. So then we move to D flat. You find the relative minor, which is 3 half steps down, which is B flat. So you start with your finger 3. And if you want to do 2 octaves, and then for E flat, you start with your third finger. And then to find your relative minor, you count back 3 half steps, 1, 2, 3, and you're starting with your thumb. And for 2 octaves, and for C minor, it's the same. When you get to the top of that second octave, instead of bringing your thumb underneath, you can just use finger 5. But for the first octave, I want you to get used to passing your thumb underneath before you move to the second octave and use your finger 5. So that's the minor pentatonic scale in all 12 keys. In the next lesson, we're going to work through our speed drills to figure out what level you're at and what you need to work on.